Hello, and welcome back to the Follow Your Spark podcast. I am so excited for this conversation today where we're going to dive deep into all things the summer solstice. We're going to talk about the power of this energy and this time of year to spark more clarity, illumination, power, gratitude. So, if you are craving any of that in your life right now, especially as we head into the second half of this year, this conversation is for you. So, stick around. And I am so delighted to have Corinne Becker back with me today. And you might have caught her on a previous podcast. She was just on a few episodes ago. And I am so excited to have her back to share her deep wisdom. And if you're not familiar with her, if you missed that episode, Corinne is a shamanic practitioner from the Caro lineage. She is an energy worker and a skilled massage therapist with a deep passion for healing and transformation. And I am so excited to have her on today to share all of her gifts and wisdom with you. So, Corinne, thank you so much for being back with me.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
I love it. So, we're going to dive straight into the solstice. So, I would love to know, some people might be familiar with the solstice. Some people might not be familiar with the solstice at all, or it might just be another day on the calendar to them. So I'm curious if you could talk a little bit more about the solstice in general and maybe what your personal relationship is to it, what you think like energy of this season embodies. Anything you want to riff about on the solstice?
I get very excited. Actually, I think summer solstice is my favorite out of all of the equinox and solstice, which are all points where the seasons change, right? So you've got fall and spring equinox, you have winter, and you have summer solstice. And what they do is they usher us individually as well as the collective into a new season. And season obviously with fall, winter, spring, but with the energies of what comes with that. So I mean, you can look at Farmer's Almanac. They knew what to do, right? And that started with every single indigenous culture. They knew how to follow the seasons. They knew how to work with the seasons and live within the seasons. And that you understand that you can't plant in this time and expect growth to happen here, right? So as human beings, winter time is when we rest, when we gather our energy, we store our energy. Spring is when we start to plant the seeds, and summer is when we get to dive into reaping the benefits of whatever the seeds are that we've planted energetically, and of course with our food sources. But I get really excited for summer because the sun is so energizing. It makes me want to get out there and like do this and do this and do this and do this. And it's so invigorating. I mean, even whether we're conscious of it or not, I mean, how many people are excited to go to, sunset at the beach or sunrise at the beach? I mean, like we're in awe of how beautiful the sun is. And I mean, it's kind of mesmerizing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
So,
mean, when we're really paying attention to that and that energetic shift outwardly and inwardly, how much more amazing and how much more mesmerizing is that? So, I mean, solar energy, it's the same thing for us. When the sun is out and we've done all of the planning and the plotting and the resting, it's time in the summer when it's like you get to go now. You did all the work. Now you get to do it.
Yeah, I'm hearing like enjoy just came into my mind of like now is the time to
Yes.
soak up all of that.
Yes.
Enjoy all the fruits of your labor, all the seeds that you've planted, and
Mhm.
really take a moment to bask in that glory.
Yeah. Basking is a perfect term, isn't it? You're
Yeah.
bathing in it, yeah. I mean,
Yes.
even think about like here in Maryland. I mean, the minute we first start getting into warm weather and it's a nice day out, good luck getting seating anywhere at a restaurant outside because everyone is like, oh, I just want to feel that. I feel that warmth and feel like you just feel excited. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love what you described at the beginning of this, that the solstices and the equinoxes are these turning points, these
Mhm.
tipping points that usher us into a new season.
Yeah.
So the solstice marks the longest day of the year, and tips us into this summer season. And you talked about this power of paying attention to these shifts. So I'm curious, as your maybe connection to the solstices and the equinoxes has evolved over the years, what do you think is the value of like taking intentional time
Mm.
at these tipping point moments? Yeah, what impact has that had for you?
When you understand what the energetics are to each of these seasons, then you're no longer fighting it.
Mm,
For a lot of people, winter is really, really tough. And of course, seasonal depression is a real thing. Also, there's a level of understanding like this is when animals are hibernating, and we're also animals. This is when our body is resting.
mhm,
This is when you should be giving yourself allowance to do that,
mhm,
especially because you're going to be planting those seeds in spring, and you're going to be bouncing off the walls and outside and doing all the things in the summer. So instead of instead of forcing your way into doing things
mm,
at other time, if you take a pause and you say, well, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be resting right now. Or wait a minute, I'm supposed to be preparing right now. I can't expect, these seeds to have come to bloom in the season that I'm supposed to be preparing for winter or preparing the soil for you, right? So
mhm,
when you start looking at the gifts of each season, instead of saying, well, I want to do this now,
mhm,
you can start to say, oh, well, what gift is this bringing me? And how can
mm,
my benefit, and how can that create harmony for me? Well, how can I be in Aini with this energetic time?
mhm.
And when
Yeah.
you start to do that, then everything feels lighter and easier and
Mm,
because you're not trying to strong arm things.
yeah. Yeah. I'm hearing this deep, like letting go of resistance. And it's interesting. I'm from South Florida, and people often ask me, like, why did you come to Maryland? Like, do you miss Florida? And I really enjoy the seasons. I really enjoy being able to feel the change of temperatures, to tune into these different signals and be able to really drop into these gifts in this way. So I love what you were sharing about like the gifts of each season. And you talked a little bit about some of these things, and I'm curious if you could kind of sum up what you think the gifts of summer are.
I think it is just an overwhelmingly, like, really positive, awesome energy
Mm,
of uh, feeling like effervescent, invigorated.
mhm.
Yeah. I mean, think about when people go to South Florida for vacation, right? They're like, I get to be where it's warm and I get to feel the sun on my skin and
Mm,
just feel great being in the sun.
mhm. Yeah. I'm hearing this like aliveness,
Mhm.
activation, this like sparkly, effervescent, energizing
Yeah,
energy, this amplification of light, this amplification of fire within us.
absolutely. Yeah, amplification. That's a great, yeah. I mean, even think about it, like, what is a tan? It is your skin being sun-kissed, as they say,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, and what inspired me for us to even have this conversation is that I'm about to head to Italy in a week and a half or so, and I'll be gone for the summer solstice. And when I was thinking about how I wanted to support people while I was gone, going on my own journey, I was like, I want to create something around the solstice. And when I thought of who I wanted to partner with and collaborate with, you were one of the first people that came to my mind because of your deep connection with nature, with the elements, with the sun. And I knew that you would be able to support me in this vision of helping people to tap into this aliveness, tap into this activation to help people really ignite that. Ignite what they want to create the second half of the year, ignite what they want to feel this season. So I am so excited to be creating this solstice portal with you. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. And one of the gifts that I'm so excited that you'll be sharing in this 2 week container is your shamanic journeying practice. So I would love if you could talk a little bit about that. You know, when people hear the phrase or term shamanic journey, they might have all kinds of concepts of what that means or what that entails. So can you describe what
Mhm.
that means in the first place?
Yeah. So, it's shamanic journey is really cool. You do this to, drumming, to rattling, and it gets you into a meditative state almost. So you're not actually listening to the downbeat, you're listening to the space in between. And when you start focusing on that, then everything starts to clear away. So we take our power animals with us. We go to either the lower world, which is where we keep all of our shadows. It's also where our allies and our power animals stay. But we go down there to learn our wounds, to learn our traumas. It's a very serious place. But there are a lot of it sounds scary, but it's not. But there's a lot to learn down there. It's a lot of times it's wounds that we don't want to talk about, that we don't want to
Mm,
recognize, that we would rather just keep in the, in the dark.
mm, mhm,
But without those wounds and without working through that, where's our growth coming from? Where's our introspection coming
mm,
from?
mhm,
So, and then the upper world is very beautiful, very completely different scenario. We have mini guides up there as well. And
mm,
many times we will meet with counsel. It's a totally different ballgame. Anyways,
mhm,
so
mhm,
so the shamanic journey it's never the same. It's never the same from uh, each time that you go, you learn something new.
mhm,
Sometimes it's just a peaceful experience, and sometimes there's, you know, information that you learn that is just completely life altering. Actually, it's
mhm.
really cool. Sometimes I've learned things where I'm, thinking, "Well, I didn't know, is this really a thing?" And then I go to Google, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a thing. I
Mm,
just already knew I was on a travel. What? And
mm.
it's really, really cool.
That's interesting. And I was going to ask you, can you share like one of the most powerful or potent, or a powerful or potent thing that you've experienced in a shamanic journey? So do you want to tell us more about whatever just came to your
All
mind?
right. So, and it was this thing specifically for a long time going to my upper world, which is my upper world, doesn't look like anybody else's upper world, but I had a monk that would meet with me, and he would never say anything. He would just sit there peacefully with me. And he talks to me now, but for the longest time we just sat together.
Mhm.
And after many, many visits, he finally, before leaving, he pressed his forehead to mine
Mm,
and his third eye specifically to mine. And when he did so, I had a sensation wash over me, but also I could see that he used his third eye to place a blue spiral into my third eye.
mm,
And I've never really, I mean, I know it's one of the oldest signs that people work with, but I've never worked with that symbol at all. But I did not know that some monks, some different lineages of monks will press their third eye to someone else's third eye. And it is a way of exchanging love and awakening and
mm.
energy. And that's where I came out. I was like, what? That's so cool.
Yeah.
But it really, I mean, after that moment, then he talked to me on my visits and
Mm.
my journeys, and it's absolutely just incredible. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So what I'm hearing is this experience of being guided on a shamanic journey is a way to access insight,
Mhm.
intuitive messages, guidance, visual imagery, anything that might come up that might serve you in this
Yeah.
moment. And
Yep.
if someone's like never experienced anything like this, would you say it's accessible to anyone and everyone, even if it's like brand new to them?
It is, but the key component is that you have to put your ego aside,
Mm,
because so many people who haven't done this or haven't done it often enough to really understand, they like to say, "Oh, well, I just imagined that. Oh, well,
mm,
I must have seen something like that on TV recently," or something like that. But
mm,
um, my very, very first lower world journey, I had something like that, and I was doing a power animal retrieval, and there was a lion that came forward, and I thought, "No, this is my ego steering the ship. Let's start all this over. This is silly."
mm.
The lion had given its name, and I was like, this is ridiculous. I was used to working with angels, so I just cleared that slate. Let's start all over. And I went back in and an angel presented himself to me. And I said, aha, okay, this I can understand. This I can work with. This is my truer understanding. Well, in reflection after that, I thought, I wonder what those names meant. And I I looked up those names, and the first one, the lion's name, the meaning of that name was angel of God. And then I looked up the angel's name, and the angel's name was the meaning lion of God. And I thought, okay, well, you got me. So I was letting my ego drive the ship. And they were like, all right, well, she can't handle an animal, so we'll give her an angel because that she can get behind.
Yeah.
And that was just a moment where I'm like, all right, I have to let the ego step aside. If I think that I want to experience anything, learn anything, do any of this, I have to acquiesce that
Yeah.
control.
Yeah, what a powerful reminder of being open and
Mm.
also knowing that it's a journey. Something might come up that you don't understand, and maybe a week later or a month later, a lion shows up again and something clicks in your brain of, oh, that was the reason
Yeah.
why I saw that vision or whatever it is. And that's why I really wanted to create not just one session. And what we're creating together, this Solstice Portal, is a 2-week container. So the first couple of days are just going to be us connecting and people chatting and sharing, answering different reflection questions. And then your session is going to be on the summer solstice on June 20th to create that dedicated time and space. Because so often that's so challenging, especially in summer when I feel like people are running around and there's a million different things you could be doing, a million different plans. It can be very easy for the schedule to just get full. And maybe it's full of all beautiful things that you want to be doing. That's great. And to be able to carve out even an hour and a half of time and space to tune in can be so powerful. So that's what this container is all about, to have spaciousness to
Mhm.
unpack these things together and continue the conversation after that session as well, so that people can continue to tease out whatever came up for them inside of.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Mhm.
And the summer solstice is, well, all solstice and equinox are for each season a introspection, and then putting that introspection of what just happened through this past season. What did I do? What did I learn? How did I rest? How did I grow? How do I flow? And then putting into action those things that you did to prepare for whatever the next season is. So
Mhm.
the summer solstice is very big, like I said before, on action, but it's on creating, it's very big on manifesting, it's very big on using all of that battery power and all that bandwidth that you have to do all of those things. And so where you're saying like you might have a very busy calendar and they're all wonderful things, but to take that space, it's taking that space for yourself and reflecting. So then that way you have a solid groundwork and a solid platform for this season to work off of.
Mhm.
And it's a nice rooted feeling. So when you're doing 50 million things and going on all these different, trips or whatever it is that you're doing and juggling camp and work, when you're feeling overwhelmed or just, in the midst of things, you can say, "Oh, that's right. Okay, I get to rest after this season, but during this season, I get to do all of these things. And these are the things that I had planned to do." And that planning time probably happened in spring. As
Yes, and you can
everywhere,
see.
whether you like it or not.
Yeah. And you can see how these feed into each other. When we do spend intentional time in each season, they can support each other. And when I'm hearing, using this battery power intentionally, I feel
Mm,
like it's the difference between getting burnt out and ending the summer feeling really filled up.
yeah.
Of like, you could either cram your calendar and be exhausted and be just draining energy versus really feeling like everything I'm putting in my calendar is intentional. Everything I'm devoting all of this activated energy to is intentional.
Yeah.
And I'm balancing the doing with the reflection and the time to be.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yes. Very cool.
What is the message of the fall? How does the summer, this like what we do together now, how will that support the rest of this year?
So fall is preparation for the winter, right? I mean, you can look at animals. What do squirrels start gathering nuts, right? My one of my best friends, she's a big time farmer, and she spends a lot of the fall canning, so that way she's got food for the winter. So is preparing for the dark, preparing for the cold, preparing for the hibernation,
Mhm.
finishing the final reaping, and preparing the ground, right? Because people prepare the groundwork for the next harvest. So
Mhm.
we can always apply all of those, you know, what do the Harry Potter people call it? The muggle. All the muggle stuff really does translate into the spiritual world.
Mhm.
I mean, like I said at the beginning, like every single corner of this earth has started in indigenous roots.
Mhm.
Indigenous roots have always followed the sun, followed the moon, followed the seasons. It's the only way that it's ever worked.
Mhm.
And we can try to force things, or we can try to follow. Mother
Yeah.
Nature normally knows what she's doing.
Mm.
Follow her.
Yes. I love that follow versus force
Yeah.
and remembering that we're a part of nature.
Yeah.
Whether we want to think about it or not, we
Yeah.
are,
Yeah.
and we're impacted by the seasons
Yeah.
like everything else in nature. And if we resist that, and if we try to activate summer energy in winter or vice versa, we're going to feel that resistance.
Absolutely. You're going to be climbing up a mountain with flip-flops on. I mean, even look at the tidal charts. We follow tidal charts for fishing
Mhm.
time, right? We
Mhm.
don't get to control the tides. Mother Moon does that.
Mhm.
And if we're smart, we follow along, right? We
Mhm.
go shelling when the tide's gone out, not when it's come in.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's so much more flow and ease when we go with the tides, with the flow of the river instead of like paddling against them or trying to go in a different direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that. One thing that I also, I was looking at your website the other day and I saw what something that you wrote, and I'm going to read it to you. Obviously, you know because it says.
Okay.
And what I read was this, I don't know if it's a quote or something that says, I will not rescue you, for you are not powerless. I will not fix you, for you are not broken. I will not heal you, for I see you in your wholeness, and I will walk with you through the darkness as you remember your light. So I
Yes.
wanted to see if you could share more about what that means to you.
Ah, ooh. So that's the medicine woman's prayer. I don't know why that just got me all. It's so powerful because as somebody who's facilitating people energetically and in body work, as humans, we just want somebody to fix us, right? And when we want somebody to fix us, we are completely giving away our power. And
Mm,
we're saying, I'm not that strong, I'm not that powerful, but this person is, and this person can
mm,
fix me.
mm,
So my role, if you're going to see somebody who's doing Reiki work or shamanic work, whatever the work is, maybe not a surgeon, but you know what I mean. We're not fixing you. We
mm,
are facilitating. We are helping. It's almost akin to homeopathy, right? Homeopathy is the medicine that helps your body realign
mm,
and do the work itself, and that strengthens the body.
mhm, mhm,
So when I provide the energy and the space and the connection with spirit to help you work on your wounds, heal your traumas, I didn't do it. I
mm,
just held your hand. I gave you tools that you may not have known what they were or how to use
mhm,
them, but you're powerful. You did the work. And I mean, how cool is that? Because when you're leaving those sessions and you have tools to implement and you start putting the pieces of the puzzle together, not only are you doing the work, not only are you healing from things, but you're so much stronger. And now you're not
mhm.
reliant on somebody else. You know that you can do that,
Yeah.
you know? So it's yes. And the other part of that prayer that I just love is you're not broken. We're all imperfect, but we're all beautiful and we all have yin and yang qualities. We all
Mhm.
have positives, negatives, capabilities. You know,
Mhm.
I can't throw a ball to save my life. My kid loves to tease me, "You can't pitch a ball." Oh, you know what I can do? I can do lots of other really cool things, right? We all have we all have so many different facets to us, and none of us are more valuable than the other, unworthy compared to another. We're all on different wavelengths. Nobody's broken.
Mhm.
It's just such a powerful prayer.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love everything that you shared. And that speaks to exactly what my intention was in the creation of this solstice portal experience to help people remember their power, to
Mhm.
tune into this guidance and wisdom that is inside of us, and to remember that we don't have to seek it externally. It doesn't come from a book, it doesn't come from an expert. You're not here to give people the
Right?
prescription of how to live their life. You're
Yes.
here to help them tune inwards, to hear messages from their heart, from their guides, from their intuition, and to really remember the powerful creator that each of us are.
Mhm.
So
We're
I'm
all
so
fragments of God.
excited. Yeah, for you to help support people in accessing this energy.
Yeah.
And if you're listening to this conversation and you want to know more about this experience, you can find all the details at ginacasbaro.com/solstice hyphen portal. And
Yeah.
this is going to be a 2 week experience. Corinne's going to be guest facilitating the shamanic journey. There's someone else, stay tuned for the podcast episode next week coming out, all about this incredible energy dance practitioner that's going to take you on a movement journey. It is going to be so magical. I cannot wait. I would love to hear too, Corinne. I'm curious for anyone who's like listening to this conversation and maybe intrigued and maybe unsure. I don't know, any other message or invitation you want to offer to them about exploring this or just anything that's coming to your mind. What do you want to leave people with?
It is one of the most powerful days of the year and one of the most powerful seasons of the year. It's it's everything that you have been preparing for coming to culmination.
Mm,
We're going to do a power animal retrieval, which I think is really amazing. Stepping for, especially there's massive, massive change happening June of this year
mm,
going forward.
mm,
So to have that kind of, little ally, best friend nudging
mm,
along is really, really cool. Setting the tone for it, getting excited for what's coming,
mhm,
whether it's great stuff or whether it's not so great, but there's medicine in it. There's
mhm,
strengths and things that we learn from.
mhm,
Very, very excited. Very excited.
mhm.
It's the equinox and the solstice for shamanic people. It's the four very, very most powerful days of the year. And actually, we usually do ceremonies. We do despachos, which are gifts and offerings of gratitude to Pachamama, to Mother Earth, because she's supporting us
Mhm.
Earth. And it's just such a beautiful, powerful day.
Well, I'm so excited that we'll have this container to share this energy. And there's something too that happens when people come together. Speaking of amplification and activation,
Mhm.
having a group of people all doing this experience together just amplifies that even more.
Yeah.
And maybe we don't want to give away all the details. And I'm curious if you want to share now and maybe not. Are they going to go on a lower world journey, an upper world journey?
We're
What
gonna
are
do
you
lower
feeling?
world. We're
Oh,
gonna do lower world. Yeah.
okay.
And we'll talk about power animals. We'll talk about all kinds of yeah, I don't want to give anything away.
Okay. So stay tuned and don't be afraid. Like, what if someone hears that lower world and they're like, oh, how you described it before? It's kind of like dark or intense or shadowy. Anything you might want them to know of, like, don't be afraid.
Oh yeah, no, don't be afraid. It's not anyone else's lower world. And lower world makes it sound like, oh, it's scary and it's hell. We don't believe in hell. So it's definitely not hell. It's not hot and fiery. No, it's it's our own space. Anything that's down there is of us. It is our own
Mhm.
thing.
Mhm.
And we have a guide who's down there.
Mhm.
We have a guide that lets us in and lets
Mm.
us know that it's safe. Sometimes he'll say, "Not today." So we're always protected when we're traveling
Mhm.
through the lower world. And again, it's not anyone else's hoocha or energy. It's our
Mhm.
own.
Mhm.
So it's safe in that space because, well, it is a whole other world. It's our own world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've had some really powerful experiences in the lower worlds. I'm looking at probably like 10 years ago. I was guided to a journey and met an ocelot, which was one of my animals. I was like, it was like very specific. I'm like, this is an ocelot. And I like don't
Yes.
have any like connection with an
Yes.
ocelot, but I was like, okay, ocelot. And it was like the ocelot is a big cat that navigates both in the water and in the land, and it
Mhm.
brings both of these energies. And there's a drawing of it now, artwork that's been with me for the past 10 years now that I connect to often.
Yeah.
And it's something that leaves me feeling supported and guided. So
Yeah.
just having those visions and those memories and those moments come up has stuck with me for years.
Oh,
So I'm
absolutely.
excited to
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
what comes up for everyone who joins.
It's really cool because sometimes when I'm working with clients, I've in a lower world in a retrieval, sometimes I'm doing the work for them. And I have thought like, I think that's what this animal is, but I don't actually know. And again, I'll be like, I didn't know that's what a quail looked like. Sure enough, it is a quail.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So trust your intuition,
Yep.
put
Yep.
ego aside, don't come in with any expectations,
Yeah.
and just be open to whatever comes through in this solstice portal.
It's
So,
always so much cooler, whatever they're sending us than what our brain is sending us, I
mhm.
think. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Corinne, thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thank
What a fun conversation. And again, if you're curious about this offering at all, go to ginacasbaro.com/solstice hyphen portal and come join us. It is going to be magical, transformational. I cannot wait. Any final closing words before we go?
No.
All right, my friends.
Ears off.
We'll see you so soon.
Okay.
Thanks so
Thank
much.
you. Bye.